working now. I'm sorry, guys. We will redo stuff. person watching. Excellent. I heard a person. Alright. Suppose we should get cracking on some actual econ. Alright, a little better. So a couple of the things that we went over today that you guys need to know, I will go over again. And hopefully it'll take a little bit less time because I already went over them most of it. Alright. Let's get to it. So, the first thing that we did today is we talked about a production possibility curve. And exactly what does that entail, right? The production possibility. And so, instead of having the price and quantity of one particular good on each axis of the curve here, right, we're going to actually have the quantity on each curve. So it's going to be the quantity of one thing on the y-axis and the quantity of another thing on the x-axis, okay? So for this particular example, what we used in class is we used food and we used housing, right? So let's go ahead and put housing up here on the y-axis, the quantity of housing that we can produce. And then let's go ahead and put food down here on the x-axis, okay? So in any economy, in any given period of time, given the nature of, there's just limited amounts of people, there's limited amounts of land, there's limited amounts of trees, right? So we have what's called scarce resources in economics. And so with any given period of time, we can either produce a lot of food and a lot of housing and no food, right? Zero amounts of food. Or we can produce a lot of food and zero amounts of housing, right? Now, neither one of these is really desirable. If we just made housing and no food, well, we would starve unless we imported, which we'll talk about in 1 second. And down here, right? If we only made food and we didn't create any housing, that wouldn't be good anyways, right? We all have to live in tents or kind of make our own clay huts, right? These two extremes, while obtainable, are not desirable. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we're talking about the production possibility frontier. And I should probably write that name somewhere down here, right, to remind you guys. So this is the production possibilities frontier. So it's called a PPF for short. And you'll also see this as a PPC sometimes, as a production possibility curve. Okay? They mean the exact same thing. Now, when we start learning about this, we start thinking about how there's a trade-off between housing and food, right? And how we can either produce a lot of housing and no food, we can produce, maybe some mixture of the two, right? And then we think that there's just a straight kind of, or there's a constant trade-off, a constant opportunity cost. That if we give up one house, we give up 1,000 houses, right? We're gonna get 1 million extra tons of food production. So that's what this guy is. That little thing right there, that's gonna be a decrease in the housing by 1,000. And then this guy over here is going to be a increase in the food production by, 1 megatons of soy or corn, or just something generic, right? It doesn't really particularly matter. So we think that there's this constant trade-off here, right? We think that, and that should align with that one, so let me just move it. So we think that there's this constant trade-off, and we think that, real quick, I just remembered that I could probably be in the YouTube. That way I can see what you guys are saying. Might be helpful. I just thought that maybe it would be messing with the latency. But, oh well, I kind of need to be in there, don't I? Bear with me, bear with me. Wait, music. Everybody's having a good day. It's actually getting a bit warmer here, which is a pleasant surprise when I left this morning. Oh, I see it. There's 2 others watching. Yay! I'm not watching yet, so hi, 2 people. Sorry about the class. That must have been annoying. Sit there and watch me without any audio. But I'll go ahead and I'll redo everything that I was going to do in class. Why not? If I'm not doing this, I would be working on research. So this is my thing. I have the live stream up, maybe, and then I can see what you guys are asking. So if you guys stop me or have me go back or zoom in on something, I'll be able to see your comments in the chat. Just want to chat. I want to active live things today. Alright, back to this. So at first we think there's a constant trade-off, right? We think that for every 1,000 houses we get rid of, we're going to get 1 megaton of food. And we think that that's going to happen regardless of where we are on the curve, right? So even when we're making very little amounts of food, right? We're only making 3 megatons of food per family per year or something like that, right? Even when we're doing that, when there's not a lot of food being produced, the opportunity cost is going to be 1,000, and then if we go to other places on the curve, say we go to the middle of the curve, and we say that we're producing, I don't know, let's say 100 megatons of food there, again, per family per year, then we look at the change here. Okay. So it's going to be the same in terms of this is going to be 1,000 less houses, and this is going to be 1 extra megaton of food production. So that kind of rate, right? That trade-off, that what we call an opportunity cost. What you give up to get more of something. So we're giving up 1,000 houses in order to get 1 extra megaton of food. Okay? This is super delayed, so I will have to wait. If you guys send a message, it might take me 10, 15 seconds in order to actually respond to it, so I apologize. Alright, now, here's the kicker. It's not actually correct, right? This is not actually like this. It's not just a straight line. It's actually a bowed out line.
seems like it's stuck on my computer. I don't know if you guys are seeing that too. Trying to refresh it. Sorry. Maybe I should have gone on with Periscope. Maybe we'll just keep everything on YouTube. Okay, well, I got it on my phone now, so I'm going to turn my data